All right, with our powers combined, we have finally arrived. Alex, how are you?
I am Captain Pebble.
You're Captain Pebble? Oh,
Yeah.
well then it fits with the theme song. Thank you for joining us, everybody, on another episode of Total Pebble Knockdown. I am Nathan.
I am Captain Pebble, and welcome to the show.
Yeah, Captain Pebble, and our powers have combined. Welcome to the Oops All Tabletop episode. Today we are actually just going to be talking about tabletop games, and actually not even so much on the RPG front. It's got a lot of board games I want to discuss today, so that's fun. A little change, switch things up a little bit.
It is.
Yeah.
Fun.
So first up on the show, we have a weekly Muse. And the Weekly Muse is sort of a big grab bag this week because when I was going through the internets, you might have heard of those.
As one does.
As one does. I was looking up some video game news. Video game news? I was looking up some tabletop news. And it turns out that, I don't know if you were aware of this, but basically everything is being turned into a game.
Yes,
yeah.
I am aware of that. Or every game is being turned into a movie.
Yes. More on that in a different episode, because there's
Hopefully
a lot.
Never.
Yeah, maybe we won't. But really, a lot of tabletop games, some RPGs, and a lot of board games. A surprising amount.
Yeah, I have noticed a lot of board games getting turned into video games.
Oh, yeah. I've
For instance,
been seeing that.
several of them by letter games.
Oh, yes. And good for them.
Yes.
This one, though, I wanted to talk about some licensed properties, a lot of them actually, that have decided to dip their toes into the tabletop space. And the big one that was announced this last month was that, hey, Power Rangers, the one and only, is going to have a role-playing game, a tabletop role-playing game. So...
Why? Is that even
Why?
still relevant? Are Power Rangers still relevant?
Apparently...
Where?
In some place. I don't even know if there's a current series going on, to be honest with you.
I don't know, and I'm scared to look it up.
The Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, as they like to remind us, was first premiered in '93. Just to kind of give you an idea.
In America, you mean?
Sure.
Because it's not originally American, but...
Well, most of the scenes are the same in the Japanese version and the American version, but it doesn't matter. The point is that if you were a kid in the 90s, you might have remembered the Power Rangers, the teenagers with attitude, and
that what they were called?
You don't remember the Power Rangers, I am guessing. You don't remember Zordon coming down and going, "You need to find me teenagers with attitude." And then they found 5 teenagers with attitude.
For the record, the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers was an adaptation of the 1992 Japanese Super Sentai series.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it's only a year prior, but...
Right.
Yeah.
And for those who don't really understand, what they did is they wanted to get it to an American audience, to a Western audience. So they basically left all of the scenes with the people in the suits the same. And then they just changed the actors around for the out of costume part.
And 90s teenagers.
So they could reuse half the episode without having to do really anything at all.
And those great big cardboard cityscapes.
Yeah.
Fights.
They could just repurpose it the same way. I recently found out that the Fraggles did something similar. The old man who was in the shop in the Fraggles.
I thought you were gonna say the Fraggles made a TTRPG.
No, don't worry. We have other things to talk about. But no, that the Fraggles, the section with the old man and the dog, different countries had different old men and dogs.
That makes sense. That's localization.
Exactly. But
you would not have an old Chinese man in an American audience, because at the time that would make 0 sense.
Probably.
I mean, still wouldn't make a lot of sense culturally, depending like what you're doing, but whatever.
I don't know much about Frangles.
Frangles?
Frangles. Sorry, I don't know much about Frangles. I know that Uncle Travelin' Mate had went to a lot of places, but I think we got on
Frangles here.
Sorry, I think we got off on too many Frangles as for the moment. Just some acute Frangles we got going on. But the point is, that has nothing to do with what we're talking about today. Power Rangers, something else that doesn't really make much sense, but yeah. So it's getting a tabletop RPG version, and it's going to be using the Essence 20 system.
I don't even know what that is.
Okay, so the Essence 20 system basically has 4 main stats: strength, speed, smarts, and social. And
why are there all S's?
Because, I mean, come on, it's the Essence 20 system. I think they just wanted to go with S's.
Is it the SSS apostrophe S?
No, it's
system.
No, it's Essence, like you would see in like
well, that's
Kingdoms
just
of
bad
Amalur.
branding.
Yeah, I know. They really should have thought this through. But no, I think they just wanted 4 S's in a row. I don't really know why. But the idea is that those 4 then derive to other stats. That there's like 3 or 4 other stats.
Do they all start with S's too?
No, they don't. They don't. You have building blocks that might be deception, but also like encouragement for like your social stat. So it kind of, as I was reading up on it, I was like, this actually sounds a lot more like just how D&D skills and stats work, but we're not going to talk about that. Feels similar. The same building blocks, though, Alex, good news, are going to be used for RPGs for G.I. Joe and Transformers. Did I break your brain for a second
If
there?
I wanted to do a G.I. Joe type game, I'd probably use Wrath and Glory.
Oh, okay.
From
Okay.
the Warhammer RPG that they did. I don't remember who owns the rights to that right now. The Wrath and Glory one was not Fantasy Flight, I don't think. I think it maybe... I don't know. Anyways, I'd probably use Wrath and Glory, because then I wouldn't need to learn a G.I. Joe one, and I could just still kill aliens. America.
Yeah.
Transformers, however...
Yeah.
I mean... The issue I have with this isn't that I think it sounds terrible. It's like,
sure.
How do you get to make your Transformer? I want to see this character creation process.
I don't know. And do you get to choose between the Decepticons and the Autobots, or?
I think maybe there's a freewheeling.
Oh yeah,
that faction. I don't know. I think there's other ones. Maybe I don't know.
I don't know. How
Where does it take place? Is it on Cybertron?
I'd love it if it was on Cybertron.
Is it on? I mean, can we do like Transformers Beast Wars? Because that was my favorite.
Sure. Oh yeah, Beast Wars was terrific.
My on topic, but off topic. My favorite Transformer in Transformers Beast Wars was Inferno.
Oh.
He was the Fire Ant, and he always called Megatron his queen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because ant colonies.
Right. I'm trying to think who was on Beast Wars that I like. Wasn't there one that was a manta ray?
I think maybe. I don't remember who it was.
Right. There's the cheetah. I like the cheetah.
That was Bumblebee.
That Bumblebee turned into the cheetah.
Sorry, Cheetor.
Cheetor. Right.
And then Waspinator was Starscream.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And just insufferable.
Yeah. Who was Rat Trap? I remember Rat Trap, but I don't remember who it was originally.
I don't remember.
I love the fact, though, that they turned Optimus into the gorilla, and they made him Optimus Primal.
Yes.
That was
until later on, when he became just like a jet.
Yeah. Yeah.
And a bulldozer. I don't know. A ton of things. And Megatron became a freaking two-headed dragon.
Yeah. It might have gone a little off the rails at the end there, but anyway, now you get to play an RPG about it, so, hey.
Well,
Maybe the Beast
about
Wars.
Transformers. Maybe not Beast Wars.
That'll be an add-on. That'll be a splat book.
I hope so.
I hope so, yeah.
See, I actually think that'd be interesting, like, especially from our Nier episode, where we talked about the modular skills and slots type thing.
Mm-hmm.
I assume Transformers would be able to change out their equipment. A large robot TTRPG,
mm-hmm.
like a Gundam-style TTRPG,
mm-hmm.
probably not terrible. Depending on the system itself, but, you know.
Right. Understandable. Anyway, those are all using the Essence 20 system, which is a system that I had just learned about when I was looking all of this stuff up. But they are not, by any means, the only things that...
What else, Nathan?
Oh, there's so much more, Alex. RuneScape, which...
I mean...
it's an RPG, but...
I know.
But did you know that it is also going to have a board game and tabletop RPG that they say are going to be compatible with D&D 5e?
I don't understand how that would work.
I don't either. It did not seem to make sense when I was reading about it either.
I don't know if you ever played RuneScape.
I did not.
It's a lot of grind.
It's a lot of grind. Well, yeah.
I assume it's RuneScape Classic?
Yeah. It's probably RuneScape Classic.
Because yeah, it's a lot of grind.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of that bookkeeping we've said multiple occasions that doesn't really work well for tabletop because no one wants to do accounting.
Yeah. They say that it is promising fresh but faithful adaptations of classic quests and characters. And the board game for 1 to 5 players will involve chatting to NPCs, exploring the world, and tackling quests. Almost sounds a little bit more like the board game is like a pocket version of an RPG that you just like lay out on the table.
Yeah.
And oh my goodness, there'll be crafting, cooking, and leveling up skills involved.
Oh boy. At least they have crafting, because that's a huge part of RuneScape.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like leveling your crafting for 400 hours.
Perfect. Can't wait for that to be a board game where you get to sit around a table with other people.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that. But anyway, wanted to touch on that. But there's more. Don't worry. we got
but
plenty.
Wait, there's more.
But wait, there's more, and in some ways so much less. They recently announced in February that Funko Games, you might have heard of them, are
Nope.
Well, you've heard of Funko.
Nope.
You just talked about Funko Pops on the last episode.
Oh, Funko. I thought you were like Funko.
Oh, no, Funko.
Like the fun company.
Oh, yeah. No. Funko. The ones that make the little action figures and stuff. Pop figures. Anyway, they have a games division, and they revealed that they're...
Really?
Yeah, go figure. And they have revealed that they have a whole new set of tabletop games that are going to be inspired by Disney characters and attractions. And when I say that, Alex, I'm not talking about, like, for the individual movies or, like, the more recent ones.
Like the theme park?
Yeah, like, there's gonna be one called Happiest Day. It's a board game about the Magic Kingdom. There's Big Thunder Mountain Railroad.
Are these licensed?
Yeah.
Wow.
Walt Disney.
Why? Who cares?
Some of these, though, I was like, I am surprised they thought that they wanted to do these. They're doing a Goofy movie game. Do you remember the Goofy movie?
But that probably needed something, because that movie was goofy.
It was. And in similar fashion, Return of the Headless Horseman. There's gonna be a game.
Okay,
you get to play
so
classic
who are they aiming? What are all these IPs we're talking about aiming at? Are they just aiming at 90s kids?
Apparently. Maybe they figured that, like, during this time period where, like, tabletop's making a resurgence and, like, a lot of, like, the folks in the 30s, maybe early 30s and 40s, they're jonesing for a little nostalgia trip.
No, I mean, I know people are really big Disney sluts sometimes. But fuck. Listen, I know several people who are just like, Disney. And like, I get it. Disney movies are pretty good. We're not talking about Disney movies. We're talking about Disney attractions at the theme parks.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
A lot of
Epcot, the board game.
Yeah, I know. I mean, not all of them are specifically about the attractions, but I thought that those were the really standout ones. There are going to be ones, like they're doing one for the Disney princesses called Pattern Party. Yeah.
Do you make quilts?
You spin a little dial to match characters and colors and patterns and shapes. I'm sure it's like ages 3 and up, so I don't think that it's supposed to be a particularly, robust mechanical game. But
so basically what I'm hearing is Funko is making games that are aimed at either 30 to 40-year-olds or children who don't know anything in art and school.
I mean, that's kind of Disney's entire business model, really, if you think about it.
That's fair.
That's why they brought back, the Star Wars. They wanted the nostalgia trip for the older folks, and then they wanted something that the younger kids could still enjoy because it got lights and sound and everything. It's actually kind of in the model. It's just I
guess I'm just wondering, like, are they going to be taking classic like Hasbro type games, Milton Bradley games, and just retooling them to be Disney?
That would be interesting. None of these necessarily look like they're specifically like a Milton Bradley game. Actually, the Goofy Movie game has like a map of the United States and Mexico, where it looks like there's different spots where you're supposed to like make memories, and you like have chance elements. What the game will also feature elements of fate.
So
that's the other one.
The Game of Life.
It's the Game of Life. Yeah, it's
the Goofy Movie.
For the Goofy Movie, it is. You'll be able to play cards that allow you to collect memories and travel to new locations. And then they have locations that are based on the film.
So it's like the Game of Life.
Yeah.
But goofy.
But goofy.
But
goofier. Yeah. Yeah.
Alright.
It's good.
I hate this. I hate all this.
Don't worry, there's so much more.
Oh, god damn.
This is one of those episodes where it's just gonna break Alex. No. After I saw all of this, Alex, I started thinking to myself, is this just like a big trend of like just massive interest in licensed titles from other things getting into the space? And I pulled up this article from Polygon that came out earlier in the year where they mentioned the most funded tabletop Kickstarters of 2021. And when I saw that, I'm like, okay, they list 10, and at least half of these are licensed games.
I'm sure one of the biggest was probably Avatar.
Avatar was at the top, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Avatar Legends. But you probably didn't know that The Witcher Old World was...
I think, is it an RPG or a board game?
I believe it's a board game.
I did hear about it.
It is, yeah.
Vaguely.
Similarly, though, these are ones I was not familiar with. Stellaris Infinite Legacy. Had not.
I think I saw something about that too. I didn't realize it was a tabletop game though. Stellaris kind of makes sense as a tabletop board game though.
It's a strategy game, so yeah. Monster Hunter World, the board game. I was like, I don't know if that works. Yeah.
I don't.
The Binding of Isaac, Four Souls Requiem. I don't really know how you turn a roguelike into a game, but interesting.
I mean, you can.
Yeah.
It just, I don't know. Maybe it's a tiling game. I don't.
It appears to be a card game.
Oh, even worse.
Yeah. Even worse. And because, of course, we needed to, of course, there is a Marvel United X-Men game. So, you needed one. It's great. So, yeah, out of the 10 largest Kickstarters, the other ones I don't think are based on a that I'm aware of are based on a previous or like a franchise. But those 5 were very large, and we're talking about anywhere from the 9.5 million that Avatar made down to Stellaris at the bottom, but still at 2.5 million.
Why are we doing this? Why don't we just talk about Disney?
You just want to talk more about Disney?
Let's just, apparently people just go crazy over that. We're gonna do an entire Disney-themed episode of Total Pebble Knockdown.
Yeah.
If you're interested, give us ideas.
You know what one of those segments has to be is that we're gonna take one of the most obscure movies in like the Disney animated catalog, and we'll have to brainstorm a game that we can make out of it. I'll take suggestions. We'll take suggestions.
Perfect.
For that.
And then we'll pitch it to Disney, because apparently being creatively bankrupt gets you money.
I guess so. And hey, if they don't pick it up, Netflix will buy anything, really.
I mean, we don't have the IP, so we can't.
Well, we'll change some names around.
Fair. Good. Perfect.
Yeah, let's do that. We'll change some names around, and all of a sudden, we have a brand new...
Just remember, Nathan, in tabletop, you cannot copyright your mechanics. Therefore, we can just wholesale rip games and make new games with new themes.
That's true. That's true. Although, did they change the... We did that episode. No. I think you're good. I think you're okay. But I guess my big takeaway from this is I don't really know if every single IP in the world needs to make a tabletop game. I feel like it's...
I think most of them shouldn't.
Yeah, and I know that the reason why they do is because, well, money.
Fandoms.
Fandoms will buy anything. If you're a Marvel fan, you probably won't play the game. You're not necessarily, but you'll want to buy the game. Maybe. Or
let's make a Supernatural board game.
You know, that would actually do really well.
Yeah, I know.
That would do so well. And you know what you do is if you can just get like Jensen Ackles.
You probably could.
Yeah, just to promote it. Come on.
What you do is you sell it with it comes with packets of salt.
Perfect.
I didn't watch Supernatural. I just know.
Neither did I. They could make Riverdale into that would be horrifying. It would be a horror game.
Perfect. We need more horror games in the world.
We really do, especially ones based on that. I think that there is just like a certain... Sometimes they try to fit way too much into the framework of making it into a game. So I definitely don't... Like, I don't necessarily need The Wire to end up being a game I play. It would just be odd for them to do that. Although, come to think of it, they did turn Sopranos into a video game, didn't they?
Probably.
Yeah. Okay, maybe we just don't. I know that they're going to because, as we just said, there's so much money involved in these. Maybe not for Power Rangers, but the point is, I'm sure they'll recoup whatever the cost was that they put into it.
Really?
Yeah. If you had...
$20.
The $20 they put into it. What like Saturday morning cartoon would you like to see a board game of?
Oh man, I know you'd probably say the fucking Powerpuff Girls.
Yes.
Damn, I don't know. Saturday morning cartoon or just cartoon in general?
We could just do cartoons in general.
I don't know. I watch a lot of cartoons. I'd like to actually, I know what I would like. If anything was to be a tabletop game made from a IP I do like, I would say Adventure Time needs to have an RPG.
Adventure Time? Adventure Time needs an RPG?
Yep.
That would be pretty great. You know,
yeah.
I played an Adventure Time video game that was an RPG.
Yes, they've made a couple. But I mean like a tabletop RPG.
Game. Yeah, where you could actually build your character.
So we're going to try and get Pendleton Ward on the show.
Sure.
To discuss making a Adventure Time TTRPG with.
You know what I just thought would be a great thing to turn into an RPG? Heavy metal.
Like lead?
No. No. The
I don't know heavy metal.
That's okay. People who just heard me say that know what I'm talking about. So
great. Thanks for explaining it.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Heavy metal was a very adultish kind of cartoon back in the 80s, and it had a very.
We don't need any more adult-oriented RPGs.
Well, it would have been considered like more R-rated, but it was a movie. But it was like very much like every scene, every like frame looked like a heavy metal album cover when they made it. It was that kind of art style. And...
there's an ad going on that I've seen on Facebook for a Kickstarter called like Astra Inferno or something like that.
Oh yeah,
or whatever it is, and the logo is like so heavy metal that it's not something you can read.
Oh, yeah. That's fair.
And, like, I actually looked in their comments, and someone's like, that logo is not, like, legible. Maybe you could do better. And they're like, it's not meant to be read by human souls. No. And it's like, all right, fair.
It was, no, I was just thinking to myself, like, that feels like, just the box art alone looks like if Dungeons and Dragons decided to like go through like a punk phase or a goth phase, heavy metal has.
I think you mean like a satanic phase, actually.
Maybe a little bit, or they went through the terrible teens and they came out the other side.
Well, then you would just need to put a swoop of hair and some eyeliner on it.
Yeah, probably like most of the characters in the game. Or in the movie. But anyway, so that's it. But you know what? You were probably right. Powerpuff would be better. Just do that.
Adventure Time,
Powerpuff.
There might be one.
Crossover. I'm thinking crossover right now. We'll do a crossover of those two. Since they're gonna make Power Rangers into a game, they should do Mystic Knights of Tir na Nog. That would also be an equally bad idea. You could choose your elemental weapon, and then you'd have to choose like if you were going to be the champion of Earth, or of water, or of air, or
you just want a Captain Planet RPG, Nathan.
I'll take it.
No. All right.
Anyway,
are there any more terrible licenses you need to tell me about
before
we end the segment?
Probably, but not at the moment. So you can find
on our next Friday feature. Sorry, Saturday special.
On the Saturday special, just like every other one that we could possibly find. But I think that was all I wanted to do for now, because that is a lot. That is
too many.
It is too many. All right, so great. Everything licensed is a game now. Register TM copyright. So next up on the show, we have Delving Deeper, where
we delve much deeper.
So deep. We're going to delve all the way down into the caverns of game design. And on this one, I wanted to talk a little bit about making games into a learning experience. Now, the reason why I had thought about doing this as a topic was of the most unlikely of places. I was going around looking for all of those licensed games I was talking about, and something came up from halfway across the world from the newspaper, the Philippine Star. You bet you didn't know that's where we were going with this, but
nope.
There was an article where the University of the Philippines had created a tabletop game called Sakunwari, which I'm sure I'm pronouncing wrong, that
probably
that aimed to gamify disaster management. And I immediately was like, what are they talking about? And And what it was basically like a card-based game where they would be able to take major issues that we're dealing with today, like climate change, pandemics, etc., and to teach people some of the mechanics that they could use to actually do disaster management. And I thought that was very interesting.
Okay.
Yeah. Surprisingly enough, that also led to, because apparently this is the kind of thing that they do, another RPG, an educational RPG, Lipunan, which was also in the Philippines, that tackled the problems with martial law. And I was like, well, probably a good thing to know about.
Fair.
Is
this kind of like the videos I have to watch at work for active threats?
No. Actually, it looks far more engaging than those, because I've been through those same seminars.
Oh, we also have VR headsets, apparently, that you can take those active threat things on.
Oh, really?
So you just get VR.
Oh, that's
active
perfect.
Shooter incidents, and that's apparently traumatizing.
Wasn't that just Rainbow Six? Anyway, anyway, the martial law one I thought was very interesting, because that has a lot to do with like Ferdinand Marcos and that whole thing, which is very relevant because apparently his son is running for president again over there. Who'da thunk? But at any rate, to talk about that one is like casting you in the roles of like student activists or, people that are, in the government or something, and leveling up as you basically try to do speeches and stuff like that to alert people to the problems with going into a martial law state. Now, most of them, yes. Now, those seemed like really kind of heavy, serious topics, but I've also...
Far heavier than this show deals with.
Yes, exactly. But it also led me to look at some other things where they'll do resources for, like, anti-bullying or to recognize bullying for kids. They'll use not video games, but they'll use board games or card games in order to try to show and educate people on, things that they can look for to deal with situations like that. And it got me thinking about other ways that you might be able to use games as like a learning experience or a growth experience. Like actually use a game for something that is going to be productive in the real world.
For learning, yeah.
The gamification of doing things in the real world.
That's a huge thing in a lot of different areas too. Just gamifying things to make people enjoy the learning process, and it'll stick with them, because if you gamify it, generally people will remember the moments from the game, and that will touch back on what they're doing.
Yeah. I had thought a while back about the idea of essentially gamifying the very idea of like life in the way of like when you go out and you do things. You make personal accomplishments. You would like have a thing of, yeah.
Thinking of the augmented reality type thing.
A little bit more like that, I suppose, where you would actually have like a login that says that, oh, look, you met your goals, whatever the goals were, and you've leveled up and you get...
That's what fitness trackers do.
It's essentially a fitness tracker, but much more broad in its scope, I suppose. And I thought about that, but having had a background in, like, human resources, I would have much preferred to have, like, an orientation seminar where I turned it into a game, where we were learning the ins and outs of how to do the job. And I would have thought that as a very useful way of utilizing games. But I was trying to figure out, like, what might be some of the easy, simple mechanics that we could take in a game, and we might be able to utilize them to deal with something in the real world.
I mean, video games do stuff like that all the time, too. There are tons of video games that will teach you how to code, for instance.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
even if you don't realize you're learning how to code, it's like, oh yeah, these are like simple coding algorithms.
Right. I believe my niece had one of those open, where you can you make the little characters dance, and in order to do that, you can take the little programming piece and you can move it over here.
Yeah.
To say, if then statements, essentially. You can do stuff like
basic
that.
programming language. If then that. If this, then that.
Yeah, if this, then... if play, then learn, basically. Yeah. The tabletop part, though, I feel like there are certain things when it comes to just basic games like a board game that can be a learning experience, even if you don't necessarily see it up front.
Sure, strategy and planning comes into that as well.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, strategy games are great because you need to be able to think ahead. So, critical thinking is a skill. It's not necessarily like a workplace type thing, but, well, I guess it is a workplace type thing. That type of thing you can reinforce, not just learn, but you can reinforce through gaming that requires it. Although it may be limited to the scope of specific instances. Oh yes,
sure.
I need to move this troop over there because they're going to flank me.
Right.
Kind of like through me playing Warhammer as much as I did, I got fairly good at eyeballing distances of up to 4 feet. But yeah, there are definitely a bunch of skills you can learn. Math, probability, things like that in tabletop role-playing games.
And also cooperative, endeavors and stuff like that.
Team building.
And the actual, even though you have social skills in a lot of those RPGs, the actual socialization aspects of trying to work together and communicate ideas back and forth between people is kind of intrinsically necessary to do the role-playing experience itself.
And then, of course, you have games like Fate, which would also encourage and improve, hopefully improve upon skills for improv and storytelling.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. I think that if you wanted to lean into any of those, you certainly could. I don't necessarily think that that's going to mean that we're going to do like a floor manager game where you have to figure out like here's the design of your knick-knack store, and you have to play around on that board to figure out if you want to if you need to recover certain areas or like that. I would love to do orientation that way, but just not in the cards to teach new customer service reps how to recover the store, get around the board faster, and then you can pick up another cart of goods that need to be put back. But it doesn't necessarily mean that the games can't have an actual purpose to them beyond the actual simple fact of playing it.
Very true.
Very true. And more importantly, I mean, let's face it, who among us did not get better at packing after playing Tetris? I mean, it's... tell me we didn't all get better at figuring out how you put...
play enough Tetris to make me better at packing. I just moved a bunch.
Oh, okay. But see, now every time I go to reorganize, like a dresser or a closet or anything, that song starts playing in my head.
Does it?
A little bit, yeah.
Because every time that song gets playing in my head, I instantly think of the man who arranges the blocks.
I kind of figured you'd mention that meme.
The best song.
It certainly is. It certainly is. So, some of the general mechanics that you could use that can be used as a teaching experience, some of those examples being in what I was talking about before, usually involve actual creative pursuits that have multiple people involved, where you have to communicate ideas back and forth between them. Usually not a lot of chance-based mechanics. You don't see a lot of the, roll to hit parts.
Oh, hopefully you're not hitting someone if you're learning how to, resolve conflict.
I'm learning a disaster management simulation. Okay, roll for combat. Roll for combat. Okay, I think we lost the disaster management part of this. Sorry. Yeah, so not a lot of those kinds of mechanics. It definitely seems to focus a lot more on the on the actual communication of ideas. The Sakunwari, again, I know I'm not pronouncing that correctly, about doing complex disaster resolution actually was created as a multilingual game so that you have many, many different languages represented right there on the cards to make sure that people from any corner of the world could really play this and understand.
And yet they didn't translate the title into other languages for you.
Well, so the thing about it is, I can actually kind of tell you what the word means.
It's fine.
Okay. Never mind then. Imagine basically it's like a assessment of disaster scenarios. We'll say that. But anyway. So I know that there are games out there that will teach some better life skills. It doesn't necessarily have to be in every game that you play, but if you wanted to teach complex ideas, or if you wanted to teach ideas at all, really, games are not a terrible way of doing it or presenting it.
There's definitely a time and place for games to teach different skills and things like that.
Oh, sure.
And they can be really effective in the way they do it. Video games especially can be really good at some of these things too. Because if you're having fun, you don't always realize you're learning.
Exactly. You can use existing games. You don't necessarily have to make one from scratch.
Sure.
D&D is actually a good one because you can present scenarios that do have some interesting connotations for your players, because then they can figure out how to resolve whatever the conflict is. And then, of course, there are board games where if you wanted to use it as a teaching moment, maybe the whole point of your Monopoly game now is not to make everybody else go broke, which was the way it originally was built.
Are you saying you're playing Communopoly?
Socialist monopoly.
We've turned the capitalist game into a free housing for everyone game.
Well, actually, the story behind Monopoly was that when it was the landlord game before it became Monopoly, was actually to try and show the problems with the landlord model and to encourage people to work together.
Wow, they failed at that.
Yeah, because the woman who originally made it didn't think she really had anything. She ended up selling it to a dude who ended up selling it to the people that made him a whole lot of money. So, kind of ironic if you think about it.
Curse you, Milton Bradley. I don't know if it's actually Milton Bradley, but I'm just giving the guy the name.
Yeah, no, it wasn't. No, his name. No, but I think it was Parker Brothers published it, but it was the guy that brought it to them.
Yeah, no, his name is now Milton Bradley forever.
Forever. Your name is Milton Bradley for the rest of the time.
We're gonna make an NPC in a tavern, a games hustler, in a D&D or RPG of some sort, and the guy's gonna, oh yes, my name is Milton Bradley.
And now what you have to do is you have to go and kill off my terrible competitors, the notorious Parker Brothers. And
the Parker Brothers. He has a bro.
Yes, he has a bro. And then you can just go see my money manager. His name is Mr. Moneybags. He'll take care of you over there. That's great. Oh god, please let us never make a D&D version that's just Monopoly, where you have to go around and buy taverns all over the place.
Now we're going to.
Now we're going to.
Do you know how much money PCs have?
A lot. A lot.
They should just start buying towns.
So I guess that's the lesson we're going to take away from this. Your PCs should just start buying towns. I guess...
So, the learning experience we've gathered is that buying up every plot of land in your town, peak move.
Peak move. Maybe what we really learned here is that you shouldn't necessarily use D&D to try and teach economics. Because I think that the economics of how much things cost and how much people get is a little unrealistic. Yeah. But anyway, so if you are out there and you have a subject that you would like to turn into a game, or that you have taught in a game before, I'd be very interested to know. You can always find us over on our Discord, or if you want to catch us on socials, which will be in the links down below. That'd be great. Be very interested to hear from you. We got one more thing. And the one more thing is going to hurt a little bit, but it's okay.
Great.
We're going to
Can't hurt more than Power Rangers.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna leave some links for you.
Great. Now I have to look at things.
2 lists of basically bad or I guess some kind of freaky games that were turned into board games. Basically, all you're going to need to know about all of this is that sometimes people will turn something into a board game without having the, what do you call it? Thought process.
Yeah. Oh.
Basically, sometimes people will publish a game without thinking it through at all. But I do have a couple lists for you, and they are terrifying. Wanted to go over a few of the examples. A lot of
you
these
gave me
older.
A list of 56 things.
I did give you a lot of them are copies, so don't worry. But just for reference,
which one?
Yeah.
Should I click on?
The first one.
Hey, I'm only looking at one.
Okay. That is fine. Because we're not going to talk about all of these.
Good.
I will leave the list in descriptions down below if people want to see the full list, because there are some fascinating ones, but I really just wanted to touch on a few. And note, these are not concepts for games. These are games that came out. I just really want you to know. And yes, a lot of them are a little bit older. So the first one that really hit me... Oh yes, this one was a little bit odd. Not the worst among them, but there is one, it's number 11 if you're playing along at home, called Big Funeral from
Big Funeral, let me...
from 1964, which is called A Card Game for the Mildly Sane.
The Mildly Sane.
Mildly Sane, yeah. Which is basically making a family game night around the concept of funerals. And has objects like make your friends look cheap, send them to Slob Hill in an orange crate coffin. So, someone published that.
I think this game would do great these days as a meme game.
Oh, it sure would. It sure would. Yeah. In fact, a lot of these are probably going to be meme games. The 14 on your list, since we were talking about educational gaming experiences, teaching people things, maybe not like this. There's a game called Smoker's Wild from 1978.
I get it, instead of Joker's Wild.
There you go. It is, they refer to it themselves as the hilarious anti-smoking game. The idea is that it's a game that will convince you to not smoke. The box art is a dude with 3 cigarettes in his mouth and another like 4 in his hands. So instantly I don't take this seriously. But the idea is to move around the board without smoking. And if you fail to do so, It advances time on your life-o-meter and could end in your death. So, perfect. Yeah. These things are literal games, folks. Don't worry. It gets worse. Number 16. From 1981. A game called Capital Punishment.
That's my favorite type of game.
Literally, the goal of this game was to get your 4 criminals into either life imprisonment, death row, or the electric chair. That's how you win. That's how you win the game. It was basically, as another list had mentioned it, the pro death penalty punishment game. They made a board game and marketed it to kids. So there's that.
Ooh. I'm skipping right down to 26, Nathan.
Oh, did you?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I thought that you might love that one.
The old favorite with a wonderful new twist. Spin the bottle game.
Oh, yeah.
Fun for the whole family.
Now, I kind of thought that might catch your eye, because when I saw that, I was like, boy, of all the things, I did not imagine that was going to be it. And for people who are thinking, yeah, you've heard of Spin the Bottle.
Listen, this is the Tennessee edition. We're going to Arkansas.
For those playing along at home, the Spin the Bottle game is not Spin the Bottle like you know it. This is literally supposed to be turning the Spin the Bottle game into a family game that has a board with a bunch of numbers on it where you spin the bottle and I guess stuff happens. But
yeah, the numbers are how many times you have to kiss the person.
The graphics on this does not help at all. It's just the family. The mom and dad are down on the floor. The kids are all around them. They're having a
Dad's
good old time.
Looking at his little girl, and she's like,
I don't know. What are we supposed to do now? I will mention a couple that you skipped over, though.
Yeah, I was just scrolling down.
Oh, sure.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
That is scary. On a similar note, actually, I will put your attention to number 21, which is Feely Mealy from 1967.
I mean, you don't need to buy this game.
No.
To do that, you just gotta get a cardboard box and a couple holes in it.
Yeah, I think it was just the way that they were presenting it, where I just, the game that gives you a funny feeling. And for people that don't see the box, basically you have a few kids, they're around this box, and it's basically the what's in the box game, right? It's you have the cardboard box, and there's, something you put in, and you try to feel around in a dark box. And this one is from 4 different angles. So I guess, I don't know. There's nothing that could go wrong here. Nothing at all. From ages 5 to 14. There's Milton Bradley! It was Milton Bradley, though.
I blame Milton Bradley.
Yeah. Number 18, though, I find fascinating. You know how we were talking about serious matters that you could tackle with a board game? Probably not the sinking of the Titanic.
Listen, that's a serious thing.
Until you read the description, the game you play as the ship goes down, then face the perils of the open sea. So the goal, as it's described, is to get food and water from nearby islands after it's okay, now we're completely off topic. What are you talking about? Until the rescue boats save you. And the last player standing wins, and everybody leaves with a very confused history lesson. I keep thinking to myself, what are the win conditions? Are you the one that survives, and you have to make sure nobody else does?
Maybe.
Maybe?
Well,
I don't want to find out.
Why would you not let anyone else survive?
Because of reasons?
Well, fuck.
Yeah, I know. I don't necessarily think that it was a particularly great idea to do that, to be honest with you. There's also one on there that's Hangman, which is just the Hangman game, but it tries to show what it's talking about by having Vincent Price on the cover at a hanging post with the noose in his hand. Someone published that game.
Of course they did.
Yeah. Also, on that other list that I gave you, the weirdest version of Risk that you'll ever see, The War on Terror, the board game.
Oh, I didn't realize that was Risk.
It was well, they say that you have to think of it as Risk, but it's supposed to be a satirical version of Risk. But the doodle graphics and everything on it do not necessarily lend itself to being taken seriously. It is apparently still hard to find. You can find copies of this for like $200 on Amazon now, because at one point it was even confiscated by police.
What even?
Yeah. I will tell you about this one. I think we're almost done, but this one is great. It's Outrageous Party Mugshots.
Great.
And I love the way that they're marketing this. It's so much fun, it should be a crime. With 100+ activities. Just to kind of explain what this game is. It's a party game, and the cards want you to take pictures of you and your friends in acts of partying, and then post the mugshots that you make, with the nameplates and everything, to social media.
So my question with this one is...
Yeah.
Does it come with, like, a QR code Snapchat filter or something?
Oh my god, that would be amazing. They might have thought that through.
They probably didn't. When's this game from? Oh, you can buy it at Spencer's, of course.
Oh yeah, it's a Spencer's. Yeah, of course. You can buy it right now. Maybe
it just comes with the nameplate, and it comes with like a backdrop that's got this thing in the background.
Yeah, I doubt that for what they're charging. I think it's like $13. I don't think it's very feature rich. But I mostly like to think of it as the You're Fired simulator, because I feel like you're just asking for trouble putting nameplates in front of partying pictures where you're having a good time, posting on socials. Yeah, I'm sorry, Nathan. Where were you on Thursday when you called in sick? I don't know. Well, I'm just checking your Facebook here, and why do you have a name? Why do you have a mugshot where you're drinking a beer?
Well, you know,
because I thought it would be fun. And then, finally, or at least for me, finally. The one I thought was very interesting, toward the bottom of that second list, is one called Foreclosed, where you get to relive the nation's housing crash as a creditor.
Great. Is this from 2008?
I'm sure it's set in 2008. Yeah, it probably is. It only takes 30 minutes to play, and about as much time to lose all of your money. 6 players, and I think my favorite thing is that on the box art, you have all of these people that are, talking about things they want to buy, and then the guy crying with no money in his pockets looks like Mr. Moneybags, but he's very sad right now. I don't know why he'd be sad. I don't think that's how the housing crisis worked, but...
I would like to know, Nathan, this okay, I was just looking. This one that you're looking at, this article.
Yes.
26 funniest free board games you can buy. This was written in 2016.
This was written in 2016.
So this is a bit outdated. I had clicked on the Monopoly FedEx edition. And it said that new copies are available for about $53 on Amazon. So I clicked on the Amazon link, because there is a link. And it is $150.
Oh my god. Oh,
and then
no.
the Giggle Pants that says it's $14.99 on Amazon, $90.
$90. I'm guessing...
Capital Punishment says it's $114. Oh, no, that page is not good at anything. Sorry.
Not Giggle Pants. I want to buy some Giggle Pants. It actually comes with a set of giggle pants, which is pretty great.
Oh, Food Chain Magnate is still almost right. It's $136.
I'm going to guess then that a lot of these are not currently in print.
Lawsuit you cannot buy. The website is not operational.
Right. Go figure.
That price is about $9 off. Foreclosed. Let's see. Is Mercury Games still around? Well, they are. No results found.
Oh, good. So Mercury Games is just not around. I guess they got foreclosed on themselves.
They probably got a lawsuit. They have, wow. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
They have... Big City 20th anniversary Jumbo Edition for $150. The game Container, a reprint of it, for $150. The Walled City Londonderry and Borderlands, $60. Shop in Time, $25. Princes of the Renaissance for $60, and the Capitals for $69.95. I don't know any of these games.
I like that they have a thing called the Walled City, just Londonderry and Borderlands.
I don't.
That's always fun. And
the prices on these things are ridiculous.
Yeah, it's kind of what happens when they realize they can't make these anymore.
Well,
of course,
still up, so.
you'd also have to have like a I don't know, a market for any of them, which might be a problem. Oh, and the final entry, by the way, on that second list, of course, is the Green Lantern Saves the Earth. Yeah, because Ryan Reynolds is never going to be able to live that down.
I mean, I'm sure he's lived it down by now.
He's fine. He's fine.
He's doing great.
He's great. We don't have to remind him of the Green Lantern game, but I kind of want to buy it now.
So many of these are...
I don't think I can. I don't think I can buy Borderlands. I can't buy Green Lantern. I feel bad now. I do.
The War on Terror is not available.
They confiscated
Sorry,
them all.
Everybody. It's been canceled.
Folks, I'm sorry to tell you, you can't buy the War on Terror game. I wish you could. Sorry. But what about...
a lot of these are no longer games you can find.
I'm sad now, but also not surprised at all.
Which actually makes them the collector's editions they said they are.
Oh, yeah. But you know what is still available and is still the price we thought it was, Alex? Mr. Bacon's Big Adventure. So, this has been a trip through hell, and Alex, have I broken you today? I feel like... I feel almost bad that I
should feel bad.
I feel bad that
You're
put
bad, and you should feel bad. Get in the trash can with all those games that you can't find anymore.
Oh my god.
You've been foreclosed.
I told you that you couldn't buy foreclosed anymore. I told you that they made basically like a family version of Spin the Bottle. We learned that like they had to make games about martial law. I told you the Power Rangers RPG is happening.
I'm going to just bleach this all from my mind after we're done.
This is either the best or worst episode we've done, depending on who you are out there. But at any rate, though, Alex, if they wanted to find other best or worst episodes of Total Pebble Knockdown, where could they go?
You can find the best and worst episodes of Total Pebble Knockdown over at totalpebbleknockdown.com.
That's right, and when you are over there, you can even check out our Patreon, where we will have full video versions of the episodes before they go. Which are
simply the worst.
They are the absolute worst. Don't worry. You will find also the worst are outtakes in the special bonus video. The last couple weeks I hadn't had a bonus episode because, frankly, we didn't talk about anything out of the context of the show, or we were talking about stuff that is projects in the works that we can't discuss yet. So, yeah. Sorry, folks. But I figured that the only content I really had as bonus episode was mostly us blinking and staring at the sky, and you didn't really need that. Maybe there's some B-roll I can get out of it. We'll see. Good future planning. You can find the podcast on any app known to mankind, and if you have Anchor and you are signed up over there, you can even leave us video clips on the episodes, and we
clips
or audio clips.
I think they actually have a video thing. We haven't looked at that. I don't want to look at that. No.
There may be video clips, but there's definitely audio clips that you can send off to us, and we will hear them. So that's fascinating. And if you want to have more of a discussion, we also do have a Discord server, and we have a very active community over there that discusses the episodes at length. So you can check us out there. You can also find us on many different social media apps, including Twitter, and I am at Titanium.
I am at EXP Limited, and the show is at Pebble Knockdown.
That's correct.
Also, big shout out to our patrons.
Yes, big shout out to our patrons. Bonnie Ainsworth, Datum, Seagoat, and Cannibal Halfling Games, and
then our newest patron, Granite Mink.
Granite Mink. I wanted to make sure that we were using the title that our patron preferred.
Yes, I asked.
Good. We have asked, and it is Granite Mink. So there we go. So that's everybody. Everybody's in the pool now. So that's good.
Hopefully not the same pool.
Not the same pool.
It's a kiddie.
There's
not room.
There is no room. There is no room in the pool. There is no room in the ball pit.
No room in the kiddie pool ball pit.
10 more minutes in the ball. 1 more hour in the ball pit. Did they ever make a board game out of that?
The ball pit?
Yeah.
I don't think you can play board games in a ball pit.
No, from DashCon.
I have no idea.
Okay. They really should have. It would have been amazing.
They probably did.
Of course, the problem is that the board game would also be just as disappointing. So
perfect. Collector's edition away.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of things that we talked about on the show were basically the board game equivalent of the ball pit.
I'm sure this show is more exciting than most of those games.
Yes, it definitely was.
And twice as exciting as the Power Rangers game is going to be.
Oh my god. Hey, you know what? If they give me a copy, I'll try it. I don't know who I'm going to get to play with me.
Not.
Yeah. I'm going to have to find some random people who don't understand what RPGs are.
We'll do it for the patrons only.
That's right. That's a Patreon exclusive, folks. Until that time, the scary time in the future, I am already picking green. Until that scary time where I get to be the Green Ranger, we are out of here. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you on the next one. Goodbye for now.
Bye. Forever.
Until next week.